Welcome to Create a Wow Life. My name is Jessica Peterson. I'm a real estate agent out in beautiful sunny Florida and the founder of Simply Wow Agency. I am excited to go ahead and reveal to you different ways you can wow people, your business, and you. Definitely, many of you have wowed me. If I can connect you with the right people, resources, house, or business, let me know. Are you ready to create a wow life? Don't forget to subscribe, click on the bell for notifications. Let's go. Hello everyone, Jessica Peterson here over from Simply Wow Agency, and I have the amazing Dan Rochon here with us. Hey Dan.
Hello. Hello, Jessica.
Well, I know a lot of real estate agents are always asking what is the best real estate company to work for. I even saw the other day, can you take a guess, Dan, how many searches there are on a monthly basis where people are typing this in?
1 trillion.
I like how you think bigger.
$1.
It's not a dollar. So anyhow, it's up to 1,000 people, and it makes sense because I have a lot of people come to me and ask, Jessica, what's the best real estate company to work for? So I have invested so much time and energy in creating this, and I'm grateful, Dan, that you said yes to joining me and sharing insight and information on this for other real estate agents out there. So you ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
Fabulous. Well, just a little bit about myself, and then I am so excited to go ahead and introduce you, Dan. I'm a certified business and life coach. I'm a real estate agent at eXp Realty on top of having my business marketing consulting firm for almost a decade. I created a community of wow power players that's growing nationally and soon to be internationally. I'm a TEDx speaker, best-selling author, 7 books, developer of a 6- and 7-figure wow blueprint, and a creator of Luxure Lifestyle magazine. Anything to add to that, Dan?
Just one gosh darn impressive woman.
Aw, you're so kind. You're so kind.
My pleasure.
Dan, you're the man. Have you ever heard that before?
That's my motto.
Okay, awesome. Well, now I'm really happy to go ahead and feature you. I love your book. I was telling some brand new real estate agents, you've got to go out there and read this book. Author of Real Estate Evolution. It's the CPI. It sounds kind of all investigative. The consistent and predictable income. It's such a cool book. And thank you for writing that book and providing that value, Dan.
You're welcome.
You're also the owner of the Greetings Virginia Sales Network. You're a real estate investor. You're featured on many TV shows as a real estate market expert. You're the associate broker in Virginia, broker in Maryland. You are with Keller Williams. And I'm really happy that we've got 2 companies here. And I know there's some other amazing companies out there. We want to keep this neutral because it's about everybody picking the right one for them. You are also an instructor at real estate schools. I am as well for some, and the teacher for new agents that I love. Absolutely love that you're the teacher for new agents. And you're the co-founder of the premier real estate website, Greetings Virginia. So anything else to add, Dan?
Well, I was going to ask you the same, Jessica. What else would you add to that?
Oh, man, you have so much wisdom. When I read your book, I thought, wow, this guy and I are so much alike. It was scary. And I know I share with you my family histories from Virginia. I saw a park dedicated our family name. So I'm still curious if we're related, Dan.
We may be. We may be.
How cool would that be? Okay, so who is the best real estate company to work for? It will vary from person to person. We're just here to give you the tools for you to go ahead and discover it. Does that sound good, Dan?
I love it.
Okay, so it's similar to dating, finding the right house, the right outfit, hobbies, food, right? It varies what each of us like. I mean, I have a teenage daughter. I am getting ready to turn 44, and many times she's like, "Are you wearing that, Mom?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like it," right? And then I look at her and I'm like, "You're wearing that?" And she's like, "Yeah, I like it." So we all have different tastes, and same with dating, right? I mean, of course, I think my husband's amazing, but someone else out there may not think so. So what do you have to add to that, Dan?
Well, I think, when you say it's similar to dating, finding the right house, right outfit, etc., every one of us has different ambitions. We have different goals, different mindsets, different values. And so it's just like buying a car, for somebody, a Toyota may be great, a Lexus, a BMW. there's so many analogies that you could compare it to. And really what in my opinion is most important is, what's the right fit for you? How does it align with you and your values and who you are? And that's really, I know we're going to dive deeper into that.
That's so funny you use the car illustration. We're car shopping right now, and my
right.
husband and I have different, I'm all about the safety and he's all about the looks to tow our boat around. So, and you and I know have spoken before about this. Someone could sit there and say how they're the best, blah, 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 right? And it's like, out. So what it comes down to is what is the best for you. And every company has their own unique strengths. Write down what is important to you and then match it up. It's kind of like similar. One of my girlfriends, she said, I couldn't find the right guy. I got so clear on what I wanted. I wrote it completely out. That's actually part of my certification in GET statements. I teach people the secrets how to get what they want from the amazing Gary Barnes, which now I've connected and you love him as well. The more clear you are on what you want, the more likely it's going to happen. So my girlfriend, she said, I couldn't believe it. Within 24 hours, I met him. And she's just in pure heaven and love of her life. So it's same with a company. And if you're really not sure on some of that, we're going to guide you with some tools and questions to ask. And to go along with the dating, we don't want this to be, you wouldn't meet someone and ask to marry him overnight. There are some crazy, situations like that. So take your time, interview, get to know people. Don't hop in with the first one.
Hey, Jessica, I want to expand on what you just shared in regards to writing down, what's important to you. One of the things that I teach as well and that I do myself is I'm a big believer of understanding that we can visualize our destinies, our futures. And because the brain can't tell the difference between reality and really crystal clear visualization.
Yep.
So whether, whatever it may be, it would be, what is it that I want in an organization to work with, and getting clarity on that first without maybe even like considering the options. Maybe consider yourself first and consider your values first and get really crystal clear on that first. Then you could go out and you could interview with the different brokerages to see what they have to offer.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. See,
You're welcome.
That's why you're Dan the man.
Hey.
The next one is, who will you fly with? In one of my books I wrote, life is like a bus. There's only so much room on our bus, and everybody's bus is going a different direction. Well, one of my business coaches, she had a brokerage. She said, Jessica, you're no longer driving your bus. You're flying, you're soaring. So I always say, who will you fly with? You want to make sure you're going on the right track with the right people. And it's not to say everybody should be on the same jet and fly with me, not to say everyone should be on the same jet with Dan, right? And there's only so much room for the right people. So be really picky, right? I think sometimes new agents can be a little intimidated. Would you agree with me, Dan, in that, on picking the right one?
I think, well, if you're considering as a new agent, there's a different need and also a different level of knowledge for somebody that doesn't have experience in real estate. And maybe sometimes there's a different disconnect in regards to how, this is a really challenging job to do, right? I think that we can all agree on that. And as we evolve through the industry, as we get more and more experience, sometimes what we need changes as well. And so I think the biggest challenge that for a new agent may have is they may not even know what they don't know. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, then, my recommendation would be to talk to people that maybe have some experience and just a casual conversation, be like, hey, Jessica, so I know you've been in real estate for a while, and tell me about your experience and tell me about the relationships that you've had, and what should I be interested in? What should I be learning? What should I know? That could be a good starting point.
Absolutely. And for the new agents, I found that sometimes it's intimidating. The more experienced ones, we all could be in transition, right? But by the time we're done recording this in a year from now, Dan the man may be somewhere else, or Jessica Peterson may be somewhere else. It doesn't mean one's better than the other. It just means we're flying or soaring and going different directions, right?
Sure.
Okay, so the next one, training. This can be so confused with coaching, mentoring, masterminding, which we'll definitely dive more into. And so training is a skill, knowledge, or experience gained by one who trains. So look at who the trainers are and their expertise. It's rare to find just the one person who has every single answer, right? I'm always learning every single day in the real estate world.
Yeah, and I believe that not only should you be learning every single day in the real estate world, you should be learning every single day in the world. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I've been doing this for a long period of time, as I know you have, Jessica, and every single day, my endeavor is to learn something new that I didn't know yesterday, or to better develop a skill set that I already have. And so when you're looking at the training, it's, you know, again, it goes back to what's important to me. What do I not know? You may not be ready for training in regards to like how to build an organization or how to be an effective leader. If you're a new agent, you may just need the training on how to find the business. And that's a very different, you know, type of training than here's how you can hire your first assistant, your second assistant. Here's how you can hire a virtual staff and be really conscious and responsible in regards to your expenses. So it just really also depends on where you are in regards to what training may be important to you.
Absolutely correct. I'm coaching a brand new real estate agent right now, and I took him on because I love his values. We have the same values. He's a go-getter. I think I mentioned before he played pro baseball this past year. Anyhow, he was wanting to dive straight into some pretty extensive expanded training. And I asked him, well, do you think it'd be better to get the basic steps first before you dive in? He said, he goes, you're probably right. And so it's just like building a house, right? It just takes step by step, and eventually you'll have your dream home, and, you know, maybe keep building more. And I know you've got lots of real estate. I just have some, but so yeah, it's definitely a process. And then always look at the different types of training. This was so fascinating to me, Dan, because one agent came to me where the company had 300 trainings and they did 0 business. She came over to me and now she's rocking and rolling. 2 weeks, discovered 4 potential customers. I share this example because sometimes all that training could be worth it. I'm not saying it is, just for her, it wasn't the right fit, the right match. So really look at the type of training. I know you've got some superstar training.
Yeah, Jessica, I'm curious. So that agent, how would you describe the difference of what she had before and what she has now, if you know that? Because I think that's important for the viewers to understand. Is it's just a different flavor, because where she came from previously, that probably works for other agents. Mm-hmm. You know, it just didn't work for her. Could you describe to us, you know, a little bit about that?
Yeah, so for her, one of my niches, my background, I've gone into corporations and I've actually trained social media companies, social media. So for years, that was my background. I marketed the most expensive real estate in the world and taught companies social media. So really for her, I took her through my blueprint, and it really came down to, you know, I teach people how to create the perfect day. What does a perfect day look like for you? Then I dive into, you know, your business planning. I have a very simple and deep business plan. And then from there, it was just the social media. She was so clear on whom she wanted to serve. Instead of all this training just keep coming, she had clarity and clear on whom to serve. Because you and I spoke the other day when I was interviewed on your show, when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. So for her, it was just gaining that clarity and then fine tuning it on social media, and she's rocking it. She's amazing. I'm grateful for her. As a matter of fact, there's a woman who owns a real estate school and said, I saw the transformation in this woman's life. So now she's so funny. She's like, all agents, she's like, you got to put Jessica Peterson on your list to have a conversation with, because when you change lives, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So
I agree.
What about you? Do you have anything to share in regards to this?
Types of training. So one of the things that I remember as a new agent was that it felt like I was drinking from a fire hose through a straw, mm-hmm. If that makes sense. And so there was so much coming at me, and I'm such, you know, I want to know everything. And what I realized, it was just overwhelming. I wasn't able to actually digest all of the information that was coming at me. And so what I learned throughout the years is that I will never know everything in regards to our industry, in regards to the way to be able to communicate with others, to connect with others, to develop rapport, to be able to get hired more often, to exceed our clients' expectations. There's so much that goes into this. And so what I've learned to do is to sit there and say, well, for this quarter, I'm going to practice something. And whether that be, let's take, for example, rapport. So for the next 3 months, I'm going to practice how is it that I can develop rapport more often, more quickly, and what is rapport? You know, so rapport, for example, it's the way of, it's a feeling. Like, how do I know I'm in rapport? It's because I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's the connectivity. It's like we're dancing. And so that's an example right there where I may spend 3 months to a year just on one sort of major concept. And then I may spend a month on, okay, how do I write a contract? Or maybe a month on how do I give a listing presentation? Or how do I set the expectations of a buyer? And what are the potential pitfalls that they may encounter? And the odds are, particularly if you're a new agent, you're not going to know all those potential pitfalls that can occur. So that goes back into who you're getting in a relationship with in regards to a brokerage or a sales team or however you're setting that up, because that's one of the things that you should know is how are they going to set me up for success for all those things that could really do a disservice to my clients or potential clients that I would only learn through the experience. And the experiences, when you make a mistake in real estate sales, they can cost you thousands or tens of thousands of dollars because you've got to make it right for your client. And that could be giving up your entire commission. That could be buying a refrigerator. That can be doing whatever. And those mistakes can be avoidable when you have the right coaching and mentorship and training.
I love that you brought that up. It can cost you money. Absolutely.
And reputation.
Oh yeah, that's priceless, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's absolutely priceless. Okay, so I'm clicking too many buttons here because I have our faces over the words. I can't see. So I say, show me the money and where. How much is the training? Some are shocked to discover they have to pay for it, right? So ask them, okay, what kind of training? We went over this, and is it virtual? Is it in person? I personally enjoy virtual. It saves me time and money. I know some people prefer in person. So you and I are in 2 different states. I'm in Florida, you're up in Virginia, right? We could do all this virtual. And when is it held, right? So some people are, you want training. I'm sure Keller Williams the same way, but eXp Realty, someone said, oh my gosh, there's 50 hours this week of training I could take. You want training? There's lots of training. Doesn't mean you should take it all. My training courses I developed were over 70 of them. And I'm so grateful what you said. And I've pared that down to 60, 90 days worth now. And it really focuses on 1 per week, just really narrowing it down, keeping it simpler. That's why my company is called Simply Wow Agency. Keep it simple. Sometimes we overcomplicate it. I'll admit in the past I overcomplicated it, right? So just go ahead and keep it simple.
So Jessica, we really may be related then.
That's awesome. A mentor is an experienced and trusted advisor. There's someone you can go and ask for advice. So we want to make sure that we're clear that mentorship is different from trainers. Sometimes it can be the same. I look at it as different a lot of times. Ask if one's providing what the investment is. Some companies, and it can even be different even within locations, will charge for it. Some will not. Is it mandatory? I know some companies make it mandatory for you to have mentorship or optional. I've discovered in my research that one company may make it mandatory for 2 years and take half your income. One other will require 3 transactions, take 20%. Another one can go ahead and take 10% off 5 transactions. So it just varies on the mentorship, and some could be totally free. What have you discovered, Dan?
I would say in regards to mentorship, I think one of the biggest things that's important is to have consistency in the mentorship. Mm-hmm. Because if you're looking at larger brokerages, so once upon a time I owned a rather large real estate brokerage. And a challenge that we had at one time when I was in that position was that I had some senior agents and they all wanted to be a mentor, yet there was a lack of consistency because agent A has this experience and agent B has this experience. And there's value in that. There's value of different perspectives. Yet if there's an inconsistency in regards to what's being provided to the agents that are the mentees, then it's hard for them to understand what and know what they're going to get. So if you're somebody that you're looking at a real estate brokerage and you're considering, okay, what type of mentorship are they going to provide to me? You really should dig deep into that so you have an understanding of not only what is my mentor's experience, yet also what is their experience not only in real estate sales, yet what is their experience in regards to coaching or mentoring or guiding, okay? Because they may be able to teach you how to get business, yet not be able to teach you how to write a contract, or maybe the other way around. And perhaps, you have to decide for yourself, what is it that I need? And I think, again, it all starts with you in regards to mentorship, training, consulting, and coaching.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the next one is the errors and omissions insurance. Does the company offer it? Are you responsible for obtaining it? Who pays for it? These are some really important questions to go ahead and ask because again, I find it varies from company to company.
Yeah, I would say about errors and omissions insurance is, particularly if you're a new agent, you may not even know what the heck we're talking about right now. And errors and omissions insurance is basically, it's an insurance that will protect you and your company from mistakes, from negligent mistakes that maybe you misrepresent a client and you guide them in a manner that they have a financial loss. That's what the E&O insurance will be able to protect you from.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes,
You're
absolutely. Welcome. Thank you. So what does the company expect you to pay for? So the real estate company I'm with does give you business card as a gift. I don't take it up because I create my own to create results, right?
Because they are wow.
And then there are other expenses such as real estate signs, the multiple listing service, the board of realtors. You've got to really think about what all these expenses are and who's going to pay for it. It's good to plan out what you're investing in and what is required versus not required. Because again, I was speaking with a gentleman an incredible gentleman, he's going to go in the real estate world. He never even budgeted or thought about these expenses.
Yeah, and it is a business. So when you're looking, one of the things that attracted me to real estate sales was at the time that I got my license in 2007, I was looking at a lot of different franchises. I was looking at a Quiznos and a Five Guys, all great franchises. What I found was that it would cost me $250,000 to $500,000 to get involved in that franchise. And I pursued it. I went to my friends, I went to my family, I begged for money, and nobody was willing to give me $250,000. Imagine that. They told me to go to a bank. I went to a bank, and apparently they wanted this thing called collateral, so I didn't understand that either. And so then eventually I understood that to be able to get in real estate sales, it was going to cost me $2,000 and a 60-hour course. And so when you look at what does a company pay for, some companies are going to pay for more, some companies are going to pay for less, yet you should consider that you are entering into a business for a very minimal cost compared to most other businesses. I would say any other business. And the upside in real estate sales is tremendous. You can make a ton of money in this business, and it's very, very hard. So what does the company pay for? And it's gonna just go across the board from zero to everything. And then on the other side of that, it's going to be how much are you paying into the company, and it's sort of a give and take in regards to that.
Well, I'm sorry, your Pac-Man wasn't good enough collateral there for you, Dan.
That was 1981, so it was a little outdated by the time I brought it to the bank.
That's awesome. I've owned a franchise once, not real estate, and it can be expensive. So leads, this is so fascinating. So be really clear on what the company defines as leads. Some feel just a website, like we're going to give you a website, that's leads. I don't consider that leads. You still got to get people to it, lead people to it. Internet leads, average 1 out of 100 close. One agent reported with internet leads, they closed 2 a year and it was a lot of work, or relationship based. So can you take a guess what my favorite is? It's probably your favorite.
I would say it's relationship based because you are a relationship queen.
Bingo, that's awesome. The next one are some of the tools. So we've got the website, the email system, the automated texting, the home value, home searches, landing pages. See what tools they provide and what's the investment for it. Do you have any other tools that you suggest, Dan?
Let's see, website, I would say tools that would be useful would be things such as like a pre-listing packet, communication tools, templates in regards to when you're processing a transaction, what type of technology is available? Is there artificial intelligence that's being utilized? How is the big data being sort of like sorted through and being able to be analyzed for the opportunity for you as a real estate agent? Because today, just like any other business in the world, we are going through an evolution. We've already gone through an evolution of big data, artificial intelligence, technology, and commoditization. And so there are technology tools that could be able to help you with that. And, that's going to differ from broker to broker.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought up AI. My business marketing firm, I have a division of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And it is the future. Stock opportunity.
It's
go ahead,
today. It's the today and the future.
Yes, absolutely. It is today and the future. I'm glad you brought that. Stock opportunity. My motto for this year is make money while I sleep and make an impact. So, it's all about having some stock there. So that's another question asked: does a company provide stock? There's something that isn't in here, and I wanted to interject this, is I've had some agents say that they were shocked when they signed a contract with a real estate company. They were stuck there.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
For years. Yeah. So be really careful of that, because most of the time people are not happy. I mean, who wants to feel like a slave in their own? I mean, I don't.
Not only are they there for years, but remember, when somebody hires you as the agent, they're actually hiring your broker. So you should know what happens if you want to change companies. What happens at that point? And I've seen local companies in the area that I'm in that will charge you money to get out. They will keep all the listings and make sure that you get none of that. And some companies will even keep the database. So you have to be really, really careful about when you're getting in a relationship with a brokerage about what is going to happen if we decide to part ways. Am I going to be able to keep the fruits of my labor? Because you're the one that's putting in the work. You're the one that's putting in the effort. And your broker should be the one that's sort of like being the conduit for you and your success. But you want to make sure that you're certain in regards to what happens if, for example, you decide to make a move.
Perfect. Brilliantly said. Health insurance. Man, that just seems to keep going up. So I know the brokerage I'm with, they have health insurance. And I know that's important to some people. Some people may not be. So again, it comes down to, is that important to you? Ask the company. Is this provided? The next one is transactional support. I do pay for support because I have high expectations for my customers. I want them to have the best experience. It's not provided, I pay for it, right? Another company, it may be different. They may go ahead and provide that. So what would you interject here for transactional support?
I would interject in regards to just understanding as an agent that, first of all, your clients and their experience is extraordinarily important. And what I've seen agents that ride that roller coaster of sales, meaning that I do a closing, today, and then I didn't look for business. You talked about leads. I didn't lead generate for the last 3 months because I was servicing this client because I did not have transactional support. Mm-hmm. So I'd really emphasize the importance of getting transactional support so that you as an agent can move towards doing the 5 things that make you money, which is lead generate, lead convert, go on appointments, negotiate, and script and role play. That's your money makers. Now, as a new agent, there's a million things that you're going to have to do. And again, we talked about that earlier, like drinking from a fire hose. Yet what you want to do is figure out, how can I leverage off to have other people to support me, whether that be transactional support within your brokerage, or perhaps you get a virtual assistant, or, there's a lot of different ways that you can do it, which we don't have time to get into, so that I can then focus on these 5 money-making activities that are going to generate the results so that I can be able to make a great living.
Okay, Dan, you just gave me an aha, and I got to share it because, remember, I've branded and marketed companies. So I love the 5. Have you ever thought about high 5 to money-making secrets? I don't know. I love that.
I love it. I have not yet. I just did. Thank you very much.
The high 5 to money-making, I don't know. I want to be part of the high 5 club. High 5 it up, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah, right. So earnings, you get what you pay for. I know there's a lot in this little screen, and we want to keep it simple and just give you something to really expand your mind and think about, because this is such a common thing I hear from real estate agents. Oh, well, I'm at a company, it's 100% commission with a flat fee of $1,000 per closing. Okay, so if that's the case, and you average $10,000 per transaction, that's $90,000 to you. That's fantastic. Okay, well, now let's say you're with a company that has the most incredible training and you double your closings, right? And they're at an 80-20%. So with a cap at $16,000, a cap means once you're at the $16,000, no more of the company dollars paid for that year. So if you take that 80% of the commission goes to you, $16,000 in commission is paid out to broker. You can also, some companies receive that back in stock too. So really, you're at 100% and you doubled your closing. So really, really look at the numbers, because some people don't look at the big picture at everything. Because if you look at the 2 scenarios, right, it could be $184,000 in income. So $90,000 may sound like a lot to some people. $184,000 probably sounds a lot better. So I just wanted to put up here some of this information, and you may want to pause the screen and really think about this. And again, it comes down to what's important to you. Some people, it's just, and there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, I just spoke with a broker the other day. He said, I have 120 agents in my office. I haven't done 1 deal in the last year. There's some agents who just don't really want to do anything, right? So
Jessica,
really
let me expand on that as well, because one of the things you talked about, like 100% companies, when I sold my brokerage about a year and a half ago, I had a local company that was 100% commission offer me a check, 6 figures, to commit to them for 3 years at 100%. And I said no to them. And the reason why I said no to them, and I stayed in a relationship with the current brokerage that I'm with, and I paid them, to be a part of that organization, was because I knew that 100% company would not provide me with the guidance, the technology, the leadership, the mentorship, and the opportunities that I was seeking, and I am seeking. And so it gets down to a lot more than, and so obviously I wouldn't be like selling 0, yet a lot of times I see new agents, they say, I'm going to go to the 100% company, and then they never learn anything. Well, guess what 100% of 0 is? Yeah, it's 0. So you have to really sit there and dive into, what am I getting for that 16,000? What am I getting for that 28,000? What am I getting for the investment that I'm putting into the company that I'm in? Because it is an investment, or at least it should be an investment.
Absolutely. And we're not saying, I know you agree with me, that all 100%, don't have the best training or anything. No. It's just varies from company to company. And just because someone does take maybe a higher commission doesn't mean they have the best training either, right? So it comes down to what's important to you. It kind of reminds me of someone said, I'll give you $50,000 and you can keep all of it, or I'll give you $100,000 and you can keep 80% of it. What would you pick?
I'm still doing the math on that one.
Okay, Dan, 80% of 100,000.
How many burgers do I get with it?
How many burgers?
Yeah, I'll pay you for a burger on Wednesday if you give me one on Tuesday, something like that. Popeye, come on. Popeye.
I love spinach. I do love spinach.
All right, good.
I do love spinach. That's really funny because that's one of my favorite foods. Okay, so now we go to the power of the training again. Really think about this, and we already spoke about this, and we just want to really emphasize that training is powerful, and to really dive into it and the company and what they provide and be interviewing. The next one I love to talk about, Dan, is motivation. So I have had some agents come to me and say, we're looking for a company. They will sit by me, make sure I call daily people. And then some say, I want to go out there and find it myself. For me, I like to be a part of a company and have people join me who want to find it themselves, have that motivation. Not saying that's better than the other. I know some people say, you know what, Jessica, I need to sit in an office. I need someone to tell me to make 100 calls a day. Great. If that's important to you, you need to find a company that does that for you. And there are some out there.
I would agree. I don't have anything additional to add to that.
So revenue and profit share. I know some companies think differently, right? Got to think differently. It's just because you may look at it one way and a different way. And a lot of times there's some companies offer what's called revenue and profit share. They're different. Numbers are different. Just really look into it. I've looked into some people and it can generate 8 to 10 times more money faster, quicker. Again, just look at the different packages the company have and really dive into it. So, production, certain amount with rewards. I love rewards. How about you, Dan?
I like rewards. One of the things that I really love about real estate sales is that I can remember throughout my life, since I've been 13 years old and I'm 47, except for 4 years that I was a soldier in our Army, I have gotten paid directly off of the work that I've done. So I've never had a salary except for 4 years. Well, mostly never had a salary except for 4 years. And I really enjoy that I'm going to get paid in direct proportion to the effort, the knowledge, the experience that I put into my craft. And there's no upside to that. I mean, there's no ceiling to that, rather. If I want to put more into it, I can get more out. I can get better rewards. If I want to put less into it, then, I'm going to get less rewards. And so it's really, depending on how much you want to put into it, how much you want to learn, how much you want to give, how much you want to contribute to others.
I really like that. And I know you and I are the same in this way, Dan.
Yeah.
The biggest reward is the customer satisfaction. I just closed on a penthouse with some amazing people, and they're telling all their friends, and got more luxury listings, and that's the biggest reward ultimately. And it's really funny we're having this conversation because today a real estate agent found out I was what's called capped, so I hit a certain production, now I'm 100%. And he's like, what? Because numbers out there online are not always accurate and true out there, right? So it feels good also now to know that I am being rewarded, stock and 100% and everything else. And I know that you have hit the top as well, and you've been rewarded with great, relationships and also the monetary rewards as well. So
also business opportunities as well. And that's something that if you really want to dive into it, I have the opportunity to be an investor in many different businesses. And I am certain that if I was not in the relationships with the people in my brokerage, I would not be an investor into a local moving company or title company, or we're looking at a mortgage company right now. Like, I know that I would not be involved in that or be able to open up my coaching company if I didn't have the platform of relationships to be able to allow for me to do that. So it's more than just money. It's also, wealth. And that's
yes.
Wealth of relationships, that's wealth of knowledge, that's wealth of friendships, and wealth of money that's going to be coming in a passive manner.
I love that you said that. I invest in companies as well. And as I mentioned, make money while I sleep and make an impact. To me, what wealth is relationships and time.
Yeah.
More than anything else. So availability, how quick the response is from the team. I had a real estate agent who was a top producing another company, came over to where we're at, and they couldn't believe how quick the availability was. Sometimes it's a matter of a minute or two. And I asked, well, what are you used to? And they would say, oh, well, 24 hours. And then some people I've spoken with, it could be days, right? So really ask about the availability of each person within the company, because if you need help, you want to make sure you're going to have help.
I think that's really important, definitely.
And then a coach. So we spoke about trainers, we spoke about mentors, now coaching. A coach will enhance your knowledge from training and guide you on where to go. listens to your wants and needs, create a plan with you to get there. That is a good coach. I know you and I are both coaches. If anybody wants access to it, I was put live on the spot to coach the other day on a Best People We Know show. It was very fun and fascinating. And so I love coaching because ultimately I love guiding people where they want to go. And I know you do the same thing, Dan. So
yeah, I would describe the difference between a coach and a consultant. Or trainer in regards to, like, a consultant or a trainer are going to be more educational and tell you what to do and how to do it, where a coach is going to ask you the questions to be able to guide you to make the best choices for yourself. So I believe that a coach is going to ask you the questions that will allow for you to be able to achieve the goals that are important to you. And because when you're the one that's coming up with the answers, you're going to be committed to it. You're going to be married to it. Rather than I say, hey, do A, B, C. Well, you got it and you get it, yet you're not going to be, you're not going to own A, B, C. Yet if I'm able to guide you through a process where I say, well, what's important to you about that? And what could we do to be able to achieve that? And what are your goals? And those are some of the questions that a coach would, foundational questions a coach would ask, so that then they can help you to get to where you want to go. And it's much more effective. It takes more time than consulting or training, yet it's much more effective.
Absolutely. And thank you for clarifying that. Ask how often meet and the cost for it, because again, some people expect a coach to be free, some expect to pay for it, and ask how often you will meet. It's very important. Masterminds. I love masterminds. I've been leading and participating in masterminds for years. So a mastermind's in Think and Grow Rich, where people get together and exchange ideas and challenges. I absolutely love it. So ask, are there any, I have a mastermind, and like I mentioned, I'm part of one. What about you, Dan?
So you mentioned Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, which was a book that looked at several different virtues of the successful. And Napoleon Hill was somebody that studied people like John Rockefeller, studied people like Andrew Carnegie, and he studied these successful people of the last century actually, and found commonalities in them. And what he found was the commonalities were that one of the commonalities was they interacted with each other and they masterminded with each other. And really, it's because you have a choice. You can learn from your mistakes or from my mistakes. Well, my recommendation is learn from my mistakes, because I want to learn from yours, because it's a lot easier. So the smart people will sit there and meet with great people like Jessica and say, okay, Jessica, hey, here's a challenge that I'm dealing with, and I'm just curious, have you dealt with this challenge before? And if you did, how did you deal with it? What worked? What did not work? Because now I can learn from Jessica's, experience and not make the same mistakes. Not that you make any mistakes, Jessica.
Oh, I do. I do. I am a recovering perfectionist, though, too. So when you look for the trainers, the mentors, the coaches, the masterminds, ask what others have achieved, right? So I know my strengths is the branding, the social media, the productivity, the sales, right? We all have our own strengths. And Kevin, who I partnered with, he closed over 240 deals in 1 year after he just found out he had cancer, and he moved to a brand new area and didn't know anybody. So his training is totally different from my training. And so we're a really good match in that training. So he has his strengths, I have my strengths. Domenico is another top agent I have the pleasure of working with. He does amazing at open houses. He is niched and incredible at that. So, and Dan, you've got, your high five to make money. That's what always keeps popping. I want a high five through the screen to you, Dan. Woo! So everybody has their own strengths. Really ask what those are and see if it's a match for what you're looking for.
Yeah, Jessica, I would say I was having a conversation yesterday with one of the people that I mastermind with, and he had asked me, he says, Dan, what's your superpower? And I answered him in an instant. I said, modeling, right? Not going down the down the catwalk, right?
You can do that, Dan. You can do it.
Right. And so what I meant by that was that I would say what the strength of mine is that I study successful people. I study success because success leaves clues, and so does failure. And I look at success in the fine detail. What is that person's environment? Who do they surround themselves with? What do they do on a day-to-day basis? One of my mentors does triathlons. So guess what? 2 years ago, I started doing triathlons, right? Not because I had like a desire to do that. It was because I know that when I do this, I'll be healthier. When I do this, I'll get achievement. And so when you look, something that I do is really just look at those successful clues as closely as possible. Then when you understand that, emulate it, and then get creative at the top, right? Because the models are going to leave clues, and you're going to be able to look at the models of success of people that have gone through this before you. And when you understand those, implement those, and then get creative at the top.
Awesome. Awesome. High five. High five. So here's something else that's really important to look at: turnover. When I started diving into the numbers, people stay at one company or big gaps. If there's a high turnover, find out why and make sure your data is accurate. I found some people are looking at wrong data or were given wrong data. Be cautious of ones who start diving into why they're better than others. I want to emphasize that. Look for a company who asks what you desire. And I know you and we love to ask what people desire. And watch where the top producing agents are leaving from and going to. Like you said, it leaves clues, right? Yep. It leaves little clues. That's something else to start investigating and looking into. Also ask about the onboarding process. What does that look like? What are the steps? And really make sure it meets your needs as well too, right? Make sure that it's really important. Anything to add? Because we're down to our last slide here, Dan. Anything else to add?
One last thing. My opinion, if I'm interviewing with a broker and I don't hear the question, what are your goals, or a variation of that question, then I know that that's probably not the right fit for me. Mm-hmm. Now, you may have not you, Jessica, you who's watching this may have a different opinion on that, and that's fine. But I strongly consider that whoever you're getting the relationship with, take the time to understand what are your goals, what is important to you, what do you want to achieve, and that should be a foundation of the relationship, of the conversation with any broker that you talk to. Awesome,
thank you. So the next point is questions. So people can go ahead and comment below if they have any questions, or reach out to either one of us. We're pretty easy to find on the internet, right?
I think you can find us.
Most people say they put in Jessica Peterson, WOW, and I usually come up. So there are a lot of Jessica Petersons in real estate, which makes life fun. So anyhow, Dan, I want to say I'm grateful for you for going over your book. Let's see here. You want to put up your book? Here, let's stop sharing the screen. Give a plug out for your book. All
right. www.therealestateevolution.com. One of the biggest things that I see agents have struggled with is riding that roller coaster of success. And the reason why I wrote this book is to teach agents how to have consistent and predictable income. We call that CPI.
I like it. That's the high five method. So
that's it.
So I love that you do that. And if anyone wants to know about any of my books, createtheperfectday.com. I'm giving away right now. And create a wow life. I'm all about creating a wow life. And it's different for every single person, right? Like you running the marathon. For me, I'd rather be forest bathing. So look that up. I'm all about nature and forest bathing. I'm grateful for each one of you who tuned in today and our edition on how to create a wow life, how to select the right company and brokerage for you, real estate agents out there. So keep on being awesome. Have an amazing day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.